What's up YouTube, Never Lucky Pulse here. Today once again with my locals review. This time from the Munich locals. My first match was against DDD. I won the dice roll but let him go first because I'm playing a new build, a going second build with Swordsoul. I main deck triple evenly matched, double Raigeki, one Harpy's Feather Duster, double Nibiru and only 2 Ash and 2 Imperms. So I rely on the heavy destruction cards. And therefore I let him go first. As you can see, he can go without interruption from my side. I have an Imperm in my hand, but I also have evenly matched, and against DDD it's an instant win. So I don't need to waste my Imperm on him. I just wait for the evenly to resolve, and yeah, that's basically it. So this build can also go first. Some opponents let me go first when they realize that I'm having a go second build. But as you know, Swordsoul are very consistent also going first. Therefore, it works out also going first. It's still consistent. And yeah, I was testing this build and the results were quite decent, I would say. You will see it in the next matches. And now you can see I activated evenly matched. And that was basically it for him. He had to banish everything, lost a lot of resources, and I had the Raigeki also against his last monster and went with my tennis plus the vessel means I have full combo. And yeah, that's basically it. I don't have the battle phase, but I have all the negates on the board. He has only one hand card left, and that's basically it. Game 2 he let me go first, since he realized I have the going second build. I opened up with my tennis, plus I didn't side out the mass destruction cards like Raigeki or evenly matched. I let them in case I would go second, but as you can see he had the mind games on point and let me go first. But I could still go off. I had the Dragite, the Grandmaster and the Sinister Longyarn on the field. He had the Harpy's Feather Duster to clear my back row. The fusion from hand as the last game, but it was banished once again by Sinister Longyarn. His normal summon surge was negated by Grandmaster, and he had an extender, the Copernicus, to go into his Link Monster, and his Link Monster allows him to set 2 scales from his deck to the field. But as you know, they count as spell and traps, and I can banish one of them with the Sinister Longyarn effect. And he forgot about that, and his scale was destroyed, so he couldn't go off. And yeah, that was basically it in his turn. I had a Raigeki in my starting hand, so in case he would have cleaned my board, I had follow up with Raigeki and a normal summon Taya, which would anyway be a win for me. Match 2 was against Plunder Patrol, and Kaiju's a weird build, first time playing against this deck. My opponent on the dice roll and let me go first since he was sitting next to me in round 1 and was watching my going second build, so he decided to let me go first. But as you can see, it's very risky since I can still go full combo even with the Raigekis in my hand. I had the tennis and went into the Baxia. Baxia was negated by Imperm. I had Ecclesia for Taya, and Taya gave me the Grandmaster, and Grandmaster gave me the level 10 synchro to the field. So basically full combo, not the perfect end board, but I had at least double interruptions or triple interruptions if you count the spell and the trap banish plus the special summon banish from the Sinister Longyarn. So quite a decent board for me, going first, despite my going second build, right? And my opponent had the perfect out in his hand. He had Kaiju Slumber, and Kaiju Slumber destroys every monster on the field, and he will special summon 2 monsters to the field, one on my side and one on his side, a Kaiju monster. To note, you can Ash this card. If you have Ash in hand, you can negate the destruction and the special summon from deck, since the text says you special summon from deck and Ash can negate that Who card. And yeah, so you can see he activated the field spell from the Plunder Patrols. It gives them 500 attack points for each spell and trap. Plus the Plunder Patrol monsters can tag out as a quick effect for extra deck monsters. So a bit tricky. I was not familiar with this deck at all. I asked my opponent all the time, what does this card do and what does this card? I mean, I had no clue. But as you know, Swordsoul is very strong. I can still break boards despite my low card numbers. His follow-up was only a fusion monster, one of the Plunder Patrols. And that was basically it for his end board. He had only one spell and trap negate and a fusion monster, but it wasn't enough to stop me since I had Ecclesia in my hand, and Ecclesia means I have full combo. I had also Raigeki. I played just for fun. The Raigeki was negated and I special summoned Ecclesia to the field. and went into the Tire, and Tire went into the Baxia, and with Baxia I can bounce 2 cards on the field since I used the 2 attributes for the summon. So I choose the Dragite and his fusion monster to bounce. Plus I had also the follow-up with his second effect. I can destroy 1 card on the field, on my side on the field, and I can special summon 1 level 4 or lower monster. So I decided to go for Moyi, and with Moyi I get Grandmaster, and with Grandmaster I get the level 10. So I have the full OTK on board, means my opponent has no chance to survive this round. So yeah, as you can see, Swordsoul very strong. It's amazing. Even if you have a going second build, you can go off with your going first move and yeah, still continue. Even if he cleans your board, if you have the right cards like Ecclesia or the Tennis, you can still make a comeback. Where the Swordsoul deck has a great recovery, plus the extra draws with Moyi, and yeah, the extra destruction with the level 10 synchros makes the deck very strong. Game 2 he let me go first once again, but I had the Tennis and the Moyi normal summon, means I have full combo again, Grandmaster into Baronne de Fleur. Plus I had 1 Forbidden Chalice and 1 Ash, means I have 4 interruptions against a non-meta deck. It's more than enough most of the times to win the game. So I passed turn. In his turn he activated Imperm on my Baronne de Fleur. I don't need to negate since it would be wasted, so I let it go through. His Shipyard search effect was denied by Ash, and yeah, that was his last hope. I mean, he has to overcome Grandmaster plus my Forbidden Chalice. He has 2 monsters on the field, yeah, that's cool, going into Dragite. And with Dragite he has more attack points than my Grandmaster, but the Forbidden Chalice boosts my Grandmaster by 400 attack points. And if he decides to negate my Chalice, I can negate with Grandmaster his Dragite, so he would lose his monster anyway. So he went into the battle, into Grandmaster, trying to destroy him, but the Chalice brought me the win here, since he can't negate it. If he tries, I negate him, so the game was pretty much over right here. He lost his Dragite and he had to pass turn, and in my follow-up turn I could OTK him since I had the Long Yuan into the Chengying, and yeah, that was game. Match 3 was against Dinos, a very interesting matchup. I love the Dino deck, it's amazing. He won the dice roll and opened up with his normal summon, the level 1 Dino guy. He was negated by Imperm and it ended his turn, unfortunately. He had no follow-up and passed turn. In my turn I opened up with Rota, basically full combo. I had the Taya, Moyi, the Long Yuan, plus the Tennis, means he is pretty much dead, but he had Gamma to negate one of my effects. I had to chain the Baronne de Fleur negate to negate his Gamma to still continue on. And I couldn't OTK him since his Link monster prevents effect damage from the Long Yuan, so he survived with like 200 life points. He activated in his turn the search card for the Dino, the Busted Dino, which makes all your dinos unaffected by card effects. So he was able to break my board. But as you see, I have a lot of cards in my hand, aka a lot of follow-up, and he won't survive his next turn. I mean my next turn, since I will kill him eventually, even if he clears my board. As you can see, he flipped down all my monsters. It's the quick effect of the big Dino guy, of the Ultimate Tyranno, and I lose 1000 life points for each destroyed monster. And in the end of the battle phase, I activated Evenly Matched in his turn, so he had to banish one of his monsters. And in my turn, Moyi normal sum into Grandmaster, and since he has only 200 life points, I can burn him with Long Yuan or go for a game with attack points. Game 2 he decided to go first, opened up with Potter's Prosperity and got himself the Dino, which makes your dinos unaffected by card effects, so very good draw or add by his side. So I couldn't Imperm or Ash his effects or of the dinos, so he had a clear way, but he couldn't go off since his hand was not weak, but he had not the combo pieces to go fully off. Spoiler alert, he had double dimensional barrier. That was unfortunate, that's why he couldn't go off. In my turn I activated the Imperm on his Tyranno and special summoned the Shooter, went into the Monk and wanted to bounce the back row, but it was chained, the dimensional barrier, so I had to pass turn since I had only Swordsoul monsters in my hand. And yeah, you know I can't synchro summon, therefore the pass turn. He destroyed my Monk. In my following turn I Special summoned Ecclesia, went into the Moi. Moi was flipped face down. I still had follow-up with my tennies, but he flipped another dimensional barrier, and that was pretty much it for my turn. I couldn't do that much, and in his following turn he could auto-K me. Since the ultimate Terreno can attack all monsters on the field, and I lose 1000 life points for each destroyed monster, means I'm dead. Since I lost a lot of life points from the first round, he destroyed a monk, plus the Moi and etc. makes 3000, like 5000, and plus the direct damage. It was over. In game 3 I went first, opened up a Pot of Desires, drew 2 cards, and still had no normal summon. It was so painful. I bricked totally. I had a lot of hand traps like Droll, Ash, and yeah, no normal summon. Double Atara, I mean, like, what the fuck? I couldn't play. It happens very rarely, but Swordsoul can also brick. And in my case, you see it, I bricked, had to pass turn. I stopped his turn with Droll and Lockbird, but my following turn wasn't that great as well. I had no real help by the draw, and yeah, the game was pretty much over there. I knew it's impossible to win. If you don't have the normal summons, if you don't have the tennies, or let's say the right tennies, double Atara is useless. I mean, if you have Atara, Ashuna, it's full combo, but double the same tenny is never a great thing. And yeah, you can see I had no Grandmaster, no Baron, no nothing on the field, and he could slowly get advantage and summoning all his boss monsters to the field, and yeah, the game was over. So nothing really exciting to talk about this duel. I bricked totally, and he had not a perfect starting hand. He was also denied by my hand traps a bit, but could in the end still kill me. At the end, it was very interesting, but also very painful, as you can imagine. Having 6 cards and still bricking with Swordsoul is close to impossible, but yeah, it happened to me. And right in the wrong moment. I mean, Nibiru was negated by his Dolka effect. He has double monster negates, so I just threw the Nibiru, whatever. He was in my starting hand. Yeah. Unfortunately, no win this time against the Dinos, but maybe next time. And by the way, on Saturday I will have locals with qualification for the European Championship. I already have one, but there's a tournament for people who don't have one. I will still play there and maybe win a playmat, who knows. Will be fun, I guess. It's 5 rounds Swiss. Yeah. Match 4 was crazy. I played against Kaiju number 100 OTK full YOLO. First time playing against this deck, to be honest. He won the dice roll, let me go first. I was like, what is going on? And yeah, I had still the full combo in hand. I had to play my cards since I don't know what he's playing, and leaving an empty field is never a smart idea. So I summoned Chao Feng to maybe negate some light effects, I don't know. But I have to play some cards, and yeah, also Grandmaster plus the Baron de Fleur. Not the Baron de Fleur, the Sinister Long Yuan. And set 1 pass turn. It was, I guess, a blackout, I'm not sure. But in his turn, like always, they have Kaiju Slumber. It's annoying as hell. Always the board wipe plus the Kaijus to the field. It's insane. So yeah, with that I searched Ecclesia. Since the Chao Feng was destroyed by a card effect or battle, I get a search. And yeah, for my next turn, obviously. In his turn he summoned the number 97, went into number 100, but luckily I could Nibiru him to stop the OTK. So that was one saving grace for me, but still wasn't enough. I mean, he destroyed a lot of resources on my side, and I had only, I guess, 1 Ecclesia in hand and 1 unknown card, I'm not sure which one. But yeah, it looked very... No, I had 3 cards, wow. 3 cards and I couldn't clean the board. Yes, one of them was evenly matched, so he had to banish one of his cards. And yeah, special summon Ecclesia, activated her effect, got my Moi, and Moi couldn't resolve, aka I lose this game. So yeah, unfortunately it was unexpected, but happens. Game 2 I let him go first, since it's a free win. Such decks, they can't play going first strategies, so you let him go first, they pass turn, and that's what happened. He passed turn, I activated Pot of Desires, set 1 and passed turn. Since my hand was kinda bricky, I had 1 chalice only set. He twin pisted my chalice and normal summoned one of his monsters, which gets attack boost by for each banished card, 400. It wasn't enough, he had like 2000 attack points or something like that. So he passed turn, and in my turn I could OTK him since I had the combo pieces and went for game there. Game 3 he let me go first. I obviously knew it and sided out every going second card ever. So I had the combo pieces only in my deck and opened up pretty good. I had Grandmaster plus Dragite. I need Dragite against Kaiju, Slumber, etc. Plus the Sinister Longyuan against the special summon monsters. And yeah, set 1 pass turn. He Kaiju'd my Dragite and Twin Twisted my back row. It was a D barrier. I called XYZ monsters, so he couldn't go into number 97 and number 100. That was out. And he special summoned his Alpha Beast, which was banished by my Sinister Longyuan, and yeah, that was pretty much it. He lost all his resources. He had only 1 Kaiju. He could special summon it since I control 1 Kaiju. He forgot to attack, but it wouldn't matter. Overall, a great result, 3-1. It could be a 4-0 against the Dinos. It was very close in game 3. I bricked despite having 6 cards in my hand, but it is what it is, happens sometimes. I'm very pleased with my going second bolt. It destroyed a lot of opponents and caught them off guard, and yeah, maybe in the next tournament I will try it again.
But my grandpa put all his gaming knowledge, his whole heart, into assembling this deck. I have to believe that it holds some secret strategy. This card is useless.